Hi, this is Sean Hyman, and I just want to take you through a walkthrough of our trading station. Reason being is because a lot of terminology throws people off, like what's a pip, what's a lot, how much does that amount to? When you're looking at a chart, what are you really looking at on the chart? Is it the first one listed in the pair or the second one? How do you read a currency quote? How do you place an order? Things of this sort. Because even if you have experience in stocks or commodities or other markets, sometimes it can be a little bit different when you come over into currencies because of the new terminology. However, we're going to demystify this very quickly. I think you'll see that you can get up and running very quickly and enjoy it a lot. So let's get started.
We'll just take a moment to show you literally how simple the trading station really is. You've got your quote section over here. That's in real time, even though it's on a demo. You've got your equity, which is your real-time balance, and your margin tracked right here. And then you've got your open and close positions window that transacts right below the quotes window. So as soon as we transact a trade here in a moment, we'll see it pop down here fairly instantly. So let's break apart a quote real quick and see what that looks like. We've got Euro USD. So currencies are traded in pairs, and that's so that we can tell how something is valued versus something else. Everything has to have a benchmark against it. And so when I see this quote down here, here's how I should think. 1 euro equals what? And that what question is answered in this quote. So 1 euro equals $1.3567. So if I were physically exchanging money, and that's not what you do here in these trading platforms, but let's just say, for instance, we were, and I, as an American, wanted euros, I would need to give the European $1.3567, or basically $1.35, and they would in turn give me 1 euro back. And so those two are equal at that point. Now, if I think the euro is going to rise against the US dollar, means I think it's going to strengthen and this quote would increase in value over time, then I would click the buy button, and I'll show you how to do that here in just a minute. But you've got your sell quote here, 135.68, and your buy quote, 135.70, basically. Above here, you just see fractional pips. That's all that is. And so that spread is tracked right here by this 2.5, 2.6 that it's vacillating between, even as low as 2.0 you see there. So it'll vacillate a little back and forth, but that's your cost in the trade. Now, so if that's 2.6 pips, what does that equate to in dollars? Well, in this standard mini account, 1 pip equals $1 on this pair, as we see right here, 1.00. So that's basically about $2.50 to $2.60 that it would cost me, that I would need to overcome in my trade before I get into profitability. So you can see costs are very, very low, especially in relation to the amount of currency that you are in control of. So that's your spread cost. Now remember, in stocks you have a buy commission, a sell commission, and that market making spread. Here you don't have that buy or sell commission, you just simply have the market making spread, which is actually narrower per what you control than you'll find in most stocks, which I find very neat. Also, typically you find generally better fills in this market than you do in stocks and commodities and that sort as well. So let's say we want to buy this pair. All we've got to do is literally click on this word buy. Our market order window pops up. We could, under the advanced button, as I click it opens up this to where I could actually put in a stop and a limit as well if I wanted to. Let's just say we want to execute a market order fairly quickly. What do we have here? We've got our account number, the pair. Since I clicked on buy, it put it in buy, but I could always change it if I wanted to. I've got my lots here. Now remember, one lot is 10,000 units of currency. So if I were choosing 2 lots, that would be 20. 3 lots would be 30, etc. Because it's denominated in K, so it's 10K or 10,000 units of currency. So I like to look at that as one cluster or one batch of currency. Now, why do I say units? Because it depends on what I'm buying. If I'm buying euro dollar, I'm buying 10,000 euros against the dollar. However, if I were to go over to the right of that quote and buy USD/JPY, which is the dollar versus the yen, then I'm buying $10,000 against the yen. So let's just say we want to execute this market order. All I have to do now is simply click OK, and then fairly quickly that goes down into my open positions window. So I show euro dollar, 10 Kate bought, which is one mini lot. BRS, which means buy or sell, we bought. Gives me my opening price and the closing price. And the closing price is just a real-time quote of your sell quote that just shows you what you could close the position out presently for, or what it's quoted at presently, put it that way. And you'll notice that the trade instantly goes negative by the amount of the spread. And so, matter of fact, it's ticked just slightly against us in addition to the spread. So what I have to do is my closing price has to equal my opening price in order for me to have cleared my spread costs, and then from there it's off to the races. All that afterwards would be my profit. P/L stands for the number of pips gained or lost. Gross P/L is how that is quantified in dollars. In other words, it translates pips into dollars. So all this is calculated for me. I don't have to do any work in my head at all about it. It's all simply put out there for me. Now let's say I wanted to add in a stop. The stop is for when I'm wrong, or if I were to be wrong in the trade. You can literally click in this blank box under the word stop and put that in here. So let's say I got in at 135.73. If I want to go in at 134.73, and I can hit enter or hit the word new, that'll put that stop in there for me to where if this were to drop 100 pips against me, or $100 in this case, then I would be taken out of the trade. However, if I'm right in the trade, then maybe I want to put in a limit so that if I'm away, it would go ahead and cash me out and I would take my profits as well. So I can click on the blank box under limit, and let's say that I want a limit of 2 times my risk of 100 pips, so let's say that's 200 pips. So 135.73 is what I got in at, so let's go 137.73, and I can hit enter or the word new, and that populates in the limit box below. So now I can walk away. If my stop gets hit, I'll be taken out of the trade and my losses are limited. If it does go my way, then my limit will get hit and my profit will be taken, and so this gives me a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio as I'm risking 100 pips to gain 200. This is good to have in place because this is a 24-hour day market, so this could happen even while I'm sleeping. I could make money and cash in on that even while I'm sleeping and not know it, yet my limit's there waiting for that to happen. Let's look at our equity up here. Equity is your real-time balance, and so if I were to cash out everything right now, that's what I'd be worth. I would not use day P/L as your guide. I would use gross P/L because that's telling you how many dollars or cents that you are up or down versus where you got in, whereas this tracks the 5 p.m. close for institutional purposes mainly. And then USD MR and usable MR is our margin. Since we executed one mini lot, we had to set aside $50 out of the account equity, and the rest is sitting there in usable margin. So for each lot that I put on in a mini account, I'm setting aside $50 to control 10,000 units of currency. So you can see how you can take a little and control a lot. However, if I were to get a margin call, it would happen when this usable margin here goes to 0. That would close out all my positions so that I could never ever go into a negative account equity balance. And that's very important in the use of this platform, is that you cannot lose more than your equity in this margined leverage type account. That's very unlike in stocks or commodities. You actually can lose more there than you've got in equity. So if I wanted to close this position, and I'll let it ride, but if I were to close this position, I can literally just click on the close quote here. It'll bring up a close box, and I could click OK and close that out. So it's literally just that simple. Also, be sure to check out our charts that you can find up here as well, and I think you'll find that this is all very simple to operate.
I hope you enjoyed the walkthrough of the demo trading station. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll find to the right of the screen a link where you can open your live account. If you're new to demo trading station, I'd encourage you to demo trade for just a little bit, but go ahead and click on this link and bookmark it. If you've done your demo trading for a while and you're very familiar and feel good with the mechanics of the trading station, go ahead and open up and fund that live trading account. Because remember, you can always continue to demo trade until you're comfortable going in with your live trading. Thanks so much for watching today.